His students kept destroying every plant they saw, so he finally brought in one that could fight back. The students had been ruining plants all over the school, and he didn't care much, until they targeted Mrs. Brooks. He found her crying in her classroom, holding pieces of a broken pot. That plan had been the last thing she had from her mother. Before she passed away last month, Mrs. Brooks pulled out a resignation letter and said she couldn't take it anymore. The students had won. He had even seen Marcus cut up someone's bonsai tree just the week before, but he couldn't prove it. The teacher happened to be genetically immune to poison ivy. He even grew it along the fence in his backyard to keep neighborhood kids out. So that night, he planted 3 poison ivy plants in pots and brought them to school. The next morning, he placed them on his desk with a huge red warning sign: danger, do not touch poisonous plants. Later that morning, Marcus walked into class and strolled right up to the teacher's desk, practically drooling. "Yo, Mr. J, those really poisonous?" The teacher calmly explained how the oils bind to your skin and cause painful blisters, itchy rashes that won't stop, and how touching other sensitive areas afterward could lead to a very awkward visit with the doctor. Marcus laughed and said the teacher was just trying to scare him. The teacher gave the same warning to every class that day, and the very next day, it happened. He walked into the classroom and saw that 3 leaves were missing, torn right off. "Everyone against the wall," he shouted. "Someone destroyed my property, and I'm searching everyone." He started with the front row, making a big show of checking pockets and bags. "I'm checking everything. Bags, desks, pockets, shoes, everything except your underwear. I'm not trying to catch a lawsuit." The class burst out laughing. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Marcus shove something into his pants, but the teacher kept moving down the rows, checking every student one by one. Finally, he reached Marcus. He checked his pockets, searched his backpack, and looked through his desk. Nothing. The teacher stood up and looked Marcus straight in the eye, fully aware of where the leaves were hidden. "You're clear." Marcus leaned back in his chair, a huge smirk spreading across his face. The next day, Marcus limped into class, scratching his arms nonstop. His hands were covered in red welts. He couldn't sit still, constantly shifting in his seat, like he was sitting on fire. The teacher looked up from his desk, leaned closer, and quietly said, "Yo, Marcus, those really are poisonous." Marcus's face turned pale. Their eyes met, and he suddenly stopped scratching. That was the moment he realized the teacher had played him, and just like that, the Great Plant Massacre was over. Mrs. Brooks replanted her mother's plant, and never turned in that resignation letter.